Iha samsare bahu dustare kripaya pare pahi murare. The Acharya has stressed the need for prayer. There are three stages. You are either in a position where you think of yourself as the body. Then you will need a statue. Talk about it. Think about that God. The more you do, the more you connect. Do the worship. Go to the temple. If you do this on a daily basis, you will connect with that God. It is a very difficult, shoreless ocean, and no matter how much effort we do, we cannot guarantee we'll cross that ocean of life. So the prayer is very important. Self-realization is God realization, has minimum dependence on society, enjoys life like a child or a madman. Now please understand, many people misunderstand this Bhaja Govindam. They think that Bhaja Govindam is saying, or Adi Shankaracharya is saying, don't enjoy, don't create money, don't enjoy life, don't enjoy. No. Joy knowing that this will not last, and knowing that this will not, when you are up against a terrible calamity, it may not come to your rescue. But what will come to your rescue is that connection with that unchangeable consciousness which controls your mind, and through your mind controls your sense organs, and through your sense organs controls your entire experience of the world and reality. Only a prepared and a purified mind can seek the purpose of life. The world basically is a projection of the mind. When the mind ends or is dissolved, the world also dissolves. And the example is, into us in a common world, is deep sleep. Wherever there is a vision of difference, there is fear, anger, greed, pride, envy, and jealousy. But we don't seek it. Hence, seek Govinda, that reminder constantly at the beginning of a verse, at the end of the verse. You will not know how to use that power. So that is why here it's saying that. So we talked about unintelligent ways of handling the mind. When you are not exposed to satsang, people who have realized that Govinda Tattva, that supreme consciousness, we, by trial and error, we three ways we handle with an immature mind, unsteady, fickle mind. One is indulgence. Everything we want, we keep assuaging and giving permission to our mind to enjoy. And even at the end of our life, the teeth is now broken, eyes are not working, hair is gone, body is not working, but the well of desires is not gone. The second one is we are suppression. So from the beginning, trying to be this surface sannyasi. Oh, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. Even though you have not realized that ultimate consciousness, that inner bliss, you cannot give up the lower happiness unless you access the higher happiness. So what happens is, it's like a pressure cooker and a suppressed spring. Whenever your willpower is low, you just go all over the place, completely out of control. Third is distraction. So just doing puja, part, worship, trying to curry favors and transacting, negotiating with this Govinda Tattva, trying to distract ourselves from our immediate problems. And it works for a little bit, but keeps coming back. But mind control, to access that Govinda Tattva, we have to control our mind. And it's a two-step process. It is not optional. It is sequential. First is purification of the mind. Second is we have to get the jnana, the wisdom. And purification is that bhaja concept. And we can do it through bhakti yoga, kundalini yoga, ashtanga yoga, various ways, or karma yoga. But the Acharya says, Jnana Vihina Sarva Matena. Without knowledge, you will never know what is that Govinda Tattva. So then we talked about the 4 stages of God realization, which is also happens to be self-realization. First, we say that the world alone exists, because that's all we see. That's all our senses are telling us. Then we grow, we say, well, world also exists, God also exists, but God is a means to that world, to enjoying the world. Then our awareness grows, we says, God also exists, world also exists. Now, world is there to access God, as a means to God. Finally, we will reach that state where God alone exists. We talked about the 4 stages. And we said that the best way to control the mind and go towards that jnana is sublimation, not indulgence, not suppression, not distraction, sublimation. It is called pratipaksha bhavana, which is you substitute, you acknowledge something, you choose to let it go, you substitute it with a higher understanding. And we talked about the difference between Vishayananda and Brahmananda, the joy that comes from enjoying the objects of the world versus the source of inner joy, which is inside. It has nothing to do with desha kala vastu. It is unconditioned by, it is unconditional. It's discovering that joy within. Then we talked about verse 19, yoga rate va bhoga rate. And we do drama outside. We play all our various roles, but we are consciously aware of the Rama inside. Rama is not a person, not a god. It is that inner joy that has nothing to do with what you have, don't have in your life. So drama outside, Rama inside. And also vairagya, dispassion, not disengaging, but dispassion is something to be known, not to be shown. Don't show off that, oh, I don't need this, I don't need that, I don't need food, I don't need clothes. So that distinction we have to make. Constantly engage as a wife, as a husband, as a child, but know that it should be, vairagya should be known inside, not shown outside. Then we talked about the symbolism of Nandi, because the bull is associated with a mind that is full of lust, desires, and lazy, but it becomes Nandi when you bring that mind to total absorption and focus on Shiva, which is that ultimate tattva. And then it says Nandati, Nandati, Nandati eva. So that mind which we can bring from the outside world and focus only on that supreme consciousness, whether you call it Govinda or Shiva, doesn't matter. Then that inner joy, you are accessing 24/7 that inner joy. Then we talked about verse 20, Bhagavad Gita, Kinchitadita, the importance of self-effort. How will all these things happen? If we just continue to engage our senses with the objects of the world, it's not going to happen automatically. So the Acharya told us the importance of self-effort, no matter how small at the beginning, to move towards self-realization. And he talked about that self-effort has to be at 3 levels to satisfy and purify our 3 bodies, our 3 existence. One is the body level, where you have to do Murari Samarcha, idol worship. Initially, it will be your Ishta Devata, a god form that you are comfortable and conditioned to. And then you will have to extend that to Ashtamurti, the 8-fold Prakriti, the 5 elements and 3 gunas. Everything in the world is made out of those 8 elements, and your worship will have to be those 8 elements, including gods, animal, everything. Then going to the drop of Ganga. It's not literally drinking Ganga, but Ganga is the practice of what that intellectualism that you learn from the 3rd level, which is Bhagavad Gita. That is at the intellectual level, Bhagavad Gita, emotional level, Ganga. You go to the Ganga, meaning you're not an armchair intellectual anymore. You're experiencing this, practicing it. And Murari Samarcha. Now we move on to verse 21. Punaravi jananam, punaravi maranam, punaravi janani jatare sayanam, iha samsare bahudushtare, kripaya pare pahi murare. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Now we'll break up the words individually. Puna, api, once again. Jananam, birth. Puna, api, once again. Maranam, death. Punarapi, and again. Janani, jatare, in the mother's womb. Shayanam, lying. Iha, here. Samsare, in this samsara process. Bahudushtare, samsara, which is very hard to cross over. Upare, samsara, which has no end. Kripaya, through thy infinite kindness, pahi, save, murare, O destroyer of Mura, bhaja, seek Govinda. The English translation is, again birth, again death, and again lying in mother's womb. This samsara process is very hard to cross over. Save me, Murari, O destroyer of Mura, through thy infinite kindness. Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. So in this verse, the Acharya is bringing our attention to the fact that we need suffering to create that mumukshatva. Remember, we talked about the sadhana chatushtaya, which is viveka, vairagya, Shat Sampati, and mumukshatva. This is a longing for freedom, longing for becoming one with that Govinda Tattva. Why? Because that is inner absolute joy and absolute control. So people many times don't understand. So what's wrong? We'll be born again, dead again. It's a very painful process, this going in and out. And the example that Vedanta gives is it's like going into jail and coming out, going into jail and coming out, going into jail and coming out. You have no control over that process. So This is, when you are entering the mother's womb, those 9 months in that fetus or that jiva in the mother's womb, it's not a very pleasant process. Coming out, it's a painful process. Through the life, there is only sorrow and suffering, barely interrupted with some happy events. And even the death process, when the prana is being pulled out of your body, is still even more painful process. And we go through that again and again because we don't have that knowledge. But to want that, to get out of it, of this process of continuously death and birth and death, birth and death, and in between there is enough suffering, there has to be longing, which is not pastime, time pass longing. It has to be very strong if you really want to get out of it. That's why it takes lifetimes, thousands of lifetimes. When you realize that I'm getting sick, it's like a roller coaster ride. You're not able to get off when you want to. So there is a story in Vedanta when this Swami Chinmayananda has to talk about it. One casual seeker, a spiritual seeker went to a guru and said, I want mumukshatva, as if it's there for ordering like a cup of Starbucks coffee. And the Swami Sadhu said, yeah, you sit here. After 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, so the seeker got irritated and said, when will I get mumukshatva? So, his guru was meditating by the Ganges. He said, come here, I'll give you mokshatva. As soon as he goes towards the guru, the guru takes his head and puts it under the water and keeps it underwater. And this fellow is struggling to breathe and come out. And after a while, he is allowed to come out. And he said, what is wrong with you? Why did you do that? So the guru said, what was your only thought when you are underwater? He said, I just wanted to breathe. He said, when you want Govinda like that, only then you'll get it. Until then, it will take many, many lifetimes. So we all understand that it's not a casual pastime. 3 months we do something, 3 years we do something, and we think that we should suddenly become Govinda. That's not. We have to actively pray and pray for release from this infinite cycle. And this is what I was talking about in the chakra workshop, that this energy, this jiva that came from the material energy that came from the supreme consciousness is sitting in the lowest chakra. It has to go through 3.5 knots. It has to pierce. First knot is the knot of Brahma, survival instincts. Second knot is knot of Vishnu, thrive. Third knot is knot of Shiva, transcend this need for body and mind limitations. But you will not automatically suddenly become Govinda there. You will come and your energy, that jiva will come and wait at the Agya chakra. You don't know when it will come, and you will have to keep on praying to Govinda, please release me. I cannot do this on my own. I need your help. This is a shoreless ocean and I need your help. This is like preparing. One example I can give to make it easy to understand is like sleep. You can prepare yourself for sleep. You stop watching social media, stop eating late, stop watching TV, drinking water, no tea, no caffeine, and you go to bed early. But you cannot command sleep to come. So just like you wait for sleep to drop in, but you can prepare and be in bed. Similarly, this mumukshatva, this finally understanding, having self-realization, which is also God realization, you do all the practices and you wait. And there is in the Puranas, this is called, this Punaravi Jananam, the metaphor or the explanation for that is called Kunti Stuti. When the Mahabharata war was over, Krishna went to everybody and said, I'm going to leave for Dwarka. What do you want? Last wish that I can fulfill. He went to Kunti. Kunti said, Lord, give me more and more pain and suffering. So Krishna smiled and said, did you not have enough suffering for one lifetime? All this destruction, death, your family is decimated. He said, only when I have pain and suffering will I remember you. And if I don't remember you, there is no mukti from this life and death, life and death, life and death. So each of us, when we go through a tough patch, if you can remember that some good things you've done, when you pray, you will actually get more difficulty, because that's the only time you'll think of God. And then when you think of God, you will connect with God, because he will not interfere with free will. So never try to get away all your problems, because then again, that mumukshatva will be taken away from you. And when problem comes, we are told, don't be like Draupadi. What happened when Draupadi was dragged into that court where she was, central assembly hall where she was going to be disrobed? First, what should she do? She looked at her husbands, realized they are useless, can't do anything. Then she looked at the elders in the Sabha, Bhishma and Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. realized they can't do anything. Then she tried to clutch to her sari, realized she can't hold on to it for too long. Only then she thought of Krishna. The minute she said Krishna, he was there. So that's something this verse is telling us, that those things are given, this pain is given to us because it's a perfectly imperfect world, so that we can again reconnect with that Govind Tattva. And that should be our first go-to. Whenever we have a problem, two things we have to remember from this shloka: Saranagati, Prasada. Immediately think of Krishna or Govinda. Don't go to your parents, husband, wife, children, country. Think of that mentally. Of course, you have to take other steps, but emotionally, spiritually, surrender, saying it's beyond my control right now. Lord, I need your help. And whatever you get, you have to be happy with that. That somebody asked why we waver, because we are unhappy with what we get. And that is something that this thing says, pray to God for problems, because that's the only way you'll remember him all the time, and ask him for the solution. And whatever solution he gives or she gives or that energy gives, accept it. So we have to surrender and wait. This is the meaning of verse 21. Now we will go to verse 22. Let me read verse 22. Rathya charpata virajita kantha punya vivarjita pantha yogi yoga niyojita chitta ramate balana matava deva bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. Now let's break up the words. Rathya, the road. Charpata, pieces of old cloth. Virachita, made of. Kantha, godadi, a shawl. Punya, apunya, merit and demerit. Vivarjita, well left. Pantha, the path. Yogi, the yogi, sage. Yoga niyojita chitta, whose mind is joined in perfect yoga. Ramate, sports, lives thereafter. Balavata evam, as a child, or unmat unmatav evam, as a madman. Bhaja, seek, Govinda. So the English translation is, the yogi who wears a godadi, a shawl that is made up of small pieces of thrown out cloth, who walks the path that is beyond merit and demerit, whose mind is joined in perfect yoga with its goal, revels in God consciousness, and lives thereafter as a child or as a madman. Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. So this one describes, this shloka, the Acharya describes the state of a man of realization, because slowly he's taking us from these four stages. Only world exists, and then only God and world exist, then world and God exist. So slowly he's taking us step by step towards the becoming a self-realized man. A self-realized person has minimum dependence on society, physically as well as emotionally. There will be some dependence. We are gregarious and live in herds, so we can't completely detach ourselves, at least not the vast majority of humans. And this brings us to the first session I talked about, Shanti and Sukha. Sukha is bodily comfort. Shanti is mental peace. These are inversely related. So the more Sukha you seek and get, the less Shanti you will get. This is what they're saying. Not that you will not wear clothes, not that you will not eat, not that you won't have a place to stay, but that cannot be your single-minded focus. When you say this realized man wears a shawl made up of all leftover pieces of cloth found on the road, not literally, meaning the clothes that is to protect this body. It's not for vanity. Less and less you will care about what you wear. And that is at the body level. What you eat, what you wear. You will just eat to live, not live to eat. You will wear just something to cover your body. Like, a modern yogi, what's his name? Steve Jobs. Why did he wear only jeans and a black t-shirt? Because so much energy goes in thinking, collecting, buying, designing, remembering, wearing clothes. A huge part of his life, he said, I don't want so much energy to be wasted in beautifying my body. So he would open that 20 black and white, whatever outfits are there, he wears and he goes. It's a, so that's what they're saying. And also, punya, apunya. At the mind level, this constant right and wrong, good and bad, good and bad. That right and wrong, good and bad, or rather good and bad. Punya, apunya is actually good and bad, not right and wrong so much, comes from a level of ego. Meaning, if you are right, somebody has to be wrong. If somebody is good, you have to be bad. Or if you're good, they have to be bad. This is the job of the ego. Because ego is, I am different from Govinda, that supreme consciousness, and I'm different from the world, everybody else. So both cannot be right. Somebody has to be wrong. Most often, it is the other person who's wrong. So we always look at our actions and other people's actions and our intentions. So our intention is good, so we are doing punya. Other people's actions are bad, so they are doing papa. So that we have to go beyond that right and wrong, good and bad. And how do you do it? Because those 5 kleshas, avidya, asmita, ragadvesha, abhinivesha. Avidya is not knowing that that one supreme consciousness is in me and in everybody else. Then if you forget that, this next stage is ego. You are different, I am different. Asmita. There are me, aham, and idam. Subject and object. Rest of the world is object. Then what happens? Raga dvesha. I like this, I don't like this, I hate this, I don't hate that. So craving and desire comes in. When cravings and desire, raga dvesha come, that is punya, apunya. This person, self-realized person, lives in the moment, not tortured by resentment or anger or unforgiveness from the past, nor anxiety or depression for the future. In the moment. And which kind of people who live in the moment, don't care what they're wearing, don't care about who's right and wrong? A child or a madman? What we think is a madman. Child, what is the quality of child that a self-realized person has? Innocence. Lives in the moment. I'm hungry now, I'm happy now. They don't judge people. And the madman, that's slightly outside the societal expectations of how people should walk, talk, dress, behave, lives in his own world. He doesn't live for approval. How he's eating, living, homeless. We think these homeless people are useless people. Many of them are very realized souls. We will never know that. They look like madmen. But this is what he's saying. Don't dismiss a madman thinking you are so all put together and they have lost it. They don't care about this world of objects. They live in the moment, and because they have experienced that Govinda Tattva, that supreme consciousness, there's no fear of death, or there is no doubt in their mind. They know this body, that consciousness has taken on this body and this mind to experience something, to exhaust karmas. So they wait their time until it's time to go, to drop this body, drop this mind. So they are not so agitated about anything. And there is a story here I want to talk about. There was this king who, gives away a lot of things in charity, gold, food, cows, this, that. And then one sadhu once walked in, because they have to be bhikshus. Bhiksha is what? In Buddhism, it's really stressed. A person who is on the path of self-realization must learn to beg, because begging, it decimates ego like nothing else does. So learning to beg, and he went to get some food. He didn't even have a bowl to get the food. So the king brought out a bejeweled bowl with all the precious stones and everything, and gave him food, and he carried it, and everybody was judging him. Oh, he's supposed to be a sannyasi and he doesn't have any problem taking a bejeweled bowl for food and all that. He knows what he was doing. So he was flashing that bowl and eating as if, oh my God, I got this expensive bowl. And one thief or a robber was noticing him and knew this fellow has no place to stay. Ultimately, he'll go to either to a smasan ghat or to a temple. So he followed him all day. And as soon as he went to the temple, this man, the sadhu, knew his whole intention was to get people to come to him. And the guy is waiting for it to become really dark so he can attack and take that bowl. But this sadhu just throws out the bowl. And that robber gets the bowl and he comes in and says, why did you throw it? You knew all along that I was here and I was coming for the bowl. He said, yes, I wanted you to come. Because he wanted to change this person. That bowl was just a bowl to him. He didn't care if it was made of clay, wood, metal, gems. He didn't care. But we are the people. This spoon, why did the sadhu eat a bejeweled bowl? It is a bowl. For all he cared, it was a bowl. After that, he threw it away. So that should be it. It's not that false sannyasi where that agrevanu prushtevanu, oh, I'm a sannyasi, I cannot wear silk. Oh, I'm a sannyasi, I cannot eat in a silver bowl. No, you eat the silver bowl and throw the bowl. Who cares what happens to the silver bowl? So this understanding that this right and wrong is in our mind, and only two people don't live in the present moment. For our example, a child who's innocent, whatever he wants, he never masks his emotions. When he's happy, you know it. When he's unhappy, you know it. And they live in the moment. And a madman doesn't live for approval. He's in his own world. So this is the concept they're saying, the science of a realized man, where you are not so tied into the clothes and food and what people think about you, approval addiction. Now we will go to the verse 23. Kastvam koham kuta ayata kame janani ko me tata iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram vishwam tvakta swapna vicharam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. Now let's break up the words, phrases. Ka, who? Tvam, are you? Ka, who? Aham, am I? Kuta, from where? Ayata, did I come? Ka, who is? Me, my. Janani, mother. Ka, who is? Me, tata, my father. Iti, thus. Paribhavaya, enquire. Sarva, all. Asarang, essenceless. Vidvam, the entire world of experience. Tvakta, leaving aside, swapna vicharam, a mere dreamland born of imagination. Bhaja, seek, Govindam. The English translation is, who are you? Who am I? Where did I come from? Who is my mother? Who is my father? Thus enquire, leaving aside the entire world of experience, Vishwam, essenceless, and a mere dreamland born of imagination. Swapna vicharam, seek Govindam, seek Govindam. So in this verse, the Acharya, because he's slowly taking us step by step, leave that world only exists, world and God exist, now God and world exist. He's slowly taking us that only a prepared man, not everybody can ask these questions. And even if they ask just for the heck of it to appear so intelligent in a cocktail party, they will not even understand. So only a purified person can, purified mind can ask these questions, can receive the answers to these questions. What is the purpose of my life? And how many times this theme has been repeated? Who am I? Where do I come from? Why was I born? What is life? What is death? Where will I go after death? And he's questioning the most core relationships, mother and father, and understanding that in terms of karma, if you do past life regression, you'll realize those people who are your parents, your spouses, your children, the closest relationship in many lifetimes were different roles you have played. Either the roles were reversed or they were your enemies. They've come here as noble adversaries to teach you how to experience every aspect of life, how to harmonize and live according to the divine plan. And also in a biological way, if you look at it, my father, my mother, if you start questioning, regressing from effect to cause and effect to cause, you will realize that the people that you hold so dear to you are mere clumps of clay. They came from the seed of the father came from his seed of his father, his seed's father semen, he came from another father. And ultimately, how is the semen created? From food. Where is the food coming from the field. How does the food grow in the field? The mud. Ultimately, it all boils down to mud. From dust to dust we go. So who are you so attached to? This body came from dust, it will go to dust. This energy and relationship keeps back and forth, tit for tat, lifetime after lifetime. So who are you holding on to, and because of whom you're stopping your spiritual journey? So that's what he's asking, that only the purification is Karma Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga. And Karma Yoga is that example he gives of the pole vaulter. You use the mind to drop the mind, because unless you drop the mind, you will never get answers to these questions. Because why? We discussed in one of the last sessions that a gross object cannot experience a subtler object. For instance, the eye cannot experience the mind. Mind can see the eye, but the eye can never see the mind. So the mind can never see the consciousness. Consciousness can be aware of mind. So this is, once you do this karma yoga, and some other time we'll discuss karma yoga is what? Give up me and mine. That's what in the Bhagavad Gita it says. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. That I am the doer and I am the experiencer or deserver. Good things should happen to me or bad things will happen to me. Once you understand you don't exist, you're the projection of the universal mind. Just like once you understand that your world is like in the dream world, all those people, all the buildings, all the name, fame, humiliation, joy, they were all projections of the mind, but they feel so real when you're in the dream world. Just like that, we are projections of the collective mind. And another example the Acharya gives or Vedanta gives is like a spider. How it's from itself, it takes out that entire web it weaves and then ultimately takes it back to himself. That building of the whole web is like that Vishnu Tattva coming in and creating the samsara, or rather the Brahma, and then Vishnu maintains it. And when the spider brings it all in, it's like the Shiva Tattva. And I keep talking about this. The number 9 is the closest thing you can understand to God. Number 9, when it is added by itself, 9 plus 3 or 9 plus 4 is what? 4. You never see the 9, you only see the 4. But the 9 is there. That is the Shiva Tattva. And 9 times 4 or 9 times 3, what is that? 27. It becomes 9. You don't see the number, but you just see the 9. That is the Vishnu Tattva. It is in everything. So once you understand this is just a projection of your mind, then you'll realize this Vishwa Swapna Vichara, this world is merely a projection of your mind. There is no such thing. Now we have reached the point where world only exists, that we have given up. We have agreed world and God exist. Then we agreed God is there to fulfill worldly desires. That also we dropped. Then we switched it on. World is here to fulfill our God, to a means to God. Now the Acharya is taking to the point the world never existed. It is just you and you alone. That is the Govinda. Go is that sensory organs that is experiencing the world. Vinda, complete control. When you want, you can create a holographic world. And when you're done, you bring it in. It's finished, done. So slowly the Acharya is taking us from a very immature seeker to becoming mature seeker. To understand the role of mind, we confuse between mind and consciousness. They are not the same thing. Mind is the obstacle between God, Govinda, and the world. And world is a projection of the mind. Only because of the mind you experience the world. Otherwise, if there is no mind, there is no world. And when that happens to you, in deep sleep, there is no world. Why? Because there's no mind. That is the Shiva, that Brahman, that without any essence, without any traits, without any name, form, gunas, that is that state of Brahman. So, mind, and what is mind? You have to understand the thing of mind, which we'll discuss more in detail in the Hanuman workshop. It is just a bundle and a flow of thoughts. Thought and mind are almost same. Thought equals mind equals thought. And there are thoughts and feelings, of course, but ultimately it boils down to that. The only way you can dissolve the mind is by observing it. That is what meditation is about. But you can't jump into meditation. The purification has to happen. Body level, worship. Controlling the body. Body is balavat. Then mind level, japa. And then you can meditate. So witnessing the thoughts is the only way to dissolve the mind. And that's why when you are in meditation, there will come a point before you know it, the mind is gone. You are the Govinda. There is God alone, and that God is you. In you is you. But that cannot be explained. The mind can never, we answered that question in one of the sessions, can never experience the consciousness because it's more gross than the consciousness. The consciousness alone can experience the mind, use it as an instrument, drop it when it doesn't need it, pick it up when it needs it, and creates the world when it needs to. In Bhagavad Gita, there's a beautiful shloka in chapter 6, verse 26, which I'll read here. Because if you don't purify the mind, this is just intellectual knowledge. You cannot keep the mind is the finest instrument ever made in the entire world. And it's not that easy to control it. So it says, Yato yato nischarati manas chanchalam astiram tatas tato niyam yaitadmas naiva vasam nayat. From whatever cause the restless and unsteady mind wanders away, from that let him restrain it and bring it back under the control of the self alone. So that is what meditation is all about. That constantly watching the mind. Sounds easy, very difficult practice. So that's what he's saying, that kastvatam, when you're thinking, who am I, what am I, this mind, the collective consciousness expresses in itself in different, if there is only one consciousness, it uses Maya, its own power, to create many. And it experiences the many through the instruments of body, mind, and intellect. And when it's tired, when it's done, what does it do? Through the practice of yoga, the many become one again. One through Maya becomes many, and many through yoga becomes one. So it's only one consciousness. But just like we are one, but we play many roles. We are daughter, sister, mother, brother, employee, employer, president, chief of staff. So many roles we play. So, but a person is one. Yes, so that was verse 23. Now let's move on to verse 24. Tvai mai chanatraiko Vishnu vyartham kupyasi mayasa hishnu bhava samachita sarvatra tvam vanchasya chiradi vishnutam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. Let's break it up. The phrases and words. Tvai, in you. Mai, in me. Cha, and. Annatrya, in all other places. Two. Eka, there is but one. Vishnu, all pervading reality. Vishnu. Vyartha, unnecessarily. Kupyasi, you're getting angry. Mai, with me. Ahas hishnu, being impatient. Bhava, become. Samachitta, equal-minded. Sarvatra, everywhere, in all circumstances. Tvam, you. Vanchasi yadi, if you want. Acharat, soon. Vishnutvam, the Vishnu status. Bhaja, seek. Govinda. So the English translation is, in you, in me, and in all other places too, there is but one all-pervading reality, Vishnu. Being impatient, you are unnecessarily getting angry with me. If you want to attain soon the Vishnu status, be equal-minded in all circumstances. Seek Govinda, seek Govinda. When we don't do spiritual practices, what happens is we get trapped in the world of the mind. What is the world of the mind? Duality. Mind makes sense of the world. Makes sense meaning there has to be two things for it to make sense. If there is only one thing, where is that? What is there to make sense? So we get trapped in the world of the mind, the matrix as it is called. And that means we only see everything as idam and aham. Idam is the subject, I, and my relationship with Adam. It can be people, it can be things, it can be anything. And we are trapped. This is the ego, that I am separate from all this that is out there, not realizing that that pure consciousness has created through Maya this eightfold Prakriti. And everything in that eightfold Prakriti, the humans, the animals, the plant world, animal, mineral kingdom, every kingdom is that same energy expressing itself in different forms. If you're not aware of it, and how will you ever be aware of it? Because your senses are seeing everything differently. Only knowledge that eka satyam bhahuta vipra bhahuta vadanti. There is one truth, but people see it differently and describe it differently. So here it's saying that from the world alone, immature, spiritually untrained person who has not gone to a satsang, he'll say, I don't see God. Only the world exists. That's all I know. Then you slightly, when you have difficulties and somebody gently guides you to some spiritual practices, you come to those two stages. World also exists, God also exists, but God is here as a means to the world. We distract ourselves with puja, part and whatnot. Then we reverse it. God also exists, world also exists. World is we try to bribe God. And then finally you will come that God alone exists. And it is in the Vedanta, it's called Aham Brahmasmi. That which you're seeking, that you are. I am that. Not, but you don't stop there. This is semicircle, 180 degrees. The other 180 degrees is Sarvam Khalvidam Brahman. Not only I am Brahman, everything else is also Brahman. Because that energy is everywhere. Remember, we said that my God, your God, God principle is Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, that which never changes, not conditioned by time, place, or causation. Chit, awareness of it, aware of being aware. The other beings, living, sentient and insentient beings, are not aware of being aware. Human beings are the closest to that God Tattva because we are aware of being aware. Chit, Ananda. When you are aware that you are that unchanging, what in you is the unchanging? That witness bhava. That everything you are seeing, finally the buck stops at the consciousness. Consciousness is the witness self, the observer self. Even in quantum physics, Vedanta and they agree that the world of particles and the wave function. Wave is all possibility. Particle is only certain possibilities can happen. They are separated until you bring the observer into it. The observer will determine how those possibilities will drop into your 3D reality. So understanding that is that Aham Brahmasmi, that Govinda Tattva, that observer self is in me and it's also in everybody else. And that is why in Bhagavad Gita, that Vishwarupa, how many heads and hands, meaning I am everything. And I told you about the Jagannath in Puri, the Trinity sitting there. Why they don't have legs? Because God cannot go somewhere. Going somewhere means he was not there before. God cannot do anything, means he had not done it before. God cannot, that observer cannot close his eyes ever. Even in deep sleep, the mind is gone, the consciousness is not. That's why Jagannath doesn't have eyelids. Because how do you get up and connect with yesterday? How do you say that I had a good sleep, bad sleep, sound sleep? The mind was not there. Who took note of that? That is the consciousness, that is the observer self. So that's what he's saying here. God alone, whether you like it or not, God alone exists. And the sooner you understand that intellectually, the sooner you will be able to tap into the Govinda Tattva, that power that controls the mind, which then controls the sense organs, which then controls your experience of reality. But it is a two-step process. Purification of mind through Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Bhaja. And then clear your mind enough to receive that knowledge, Jnana Yoga, which is the Govinda Tattva. So the only time we have all these conflicts in the world, whether it's at family level, community level, corporate level, country level, global level, is because I am here and they are different. I am different from the other people. My family is better than other people's family. My country, my company, my everything is better. That aham and idam, duality we see. Once you understand that there is only one conscious principle that is pervading everything, this duality will go, the impatience will go, the irritation will go, all the kama, the six shadripu, the six enemies we have, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Desire, if you don't get it, krodha, anger. Lobha, if you get it, greed. Moha, once you get it, hold on to it. You don't want to let go. What you don't have, you want. What you have, you don't want to let go. And mada, matsarya. Mada is when you have everything you want, pride. And matsarya is somebody has it, you don't have it, jealousy. So these are creates in the world of dualities, this is it. You have to overcome this duality. And the greater the ego, what is the ego? Edged God out, edged Govinda out. What is the Govinda? That principle that controls the intellect, that controls the mind, that controls the senses, the more suffering you will have. Because the more you will see completely disjointed and broken up world. Everybody is different, everything is different, me versus the world. So that is why he is saying here that once you make all efforts to reach that stage where I am the consciousness expressing myself through a body, and everybody else also is expressing themselves through a body, mind, and intellect. I'm just like a cell in my body. There is this person, Nivedita, I have so many organs. They're all expressing themselves. But ultimately, what is running this body? What is running my mind, my sense organs, my body? There is a certain consciousness. So same with whatever is works inside our body stands true for the whole world, Jagat. Everybody is a cell or an organ, and we are all working for that one principle, consciousness principle. Atma Jnana Vihina. If you don't understand the concept of Atma, this unity consciousness, that there is only one consciousness, then Moodha, ignorant you will be, and Niguda, you will be captive, held captive in Naraka. Naraka is not a physical place. Naraka breaks down to Na Arka. Na is no, Arka is light. Light meaning jnana, no knowledge. You're thinking that everybody is different. My family is different from other people's family. My religion, different from other people's religion. My country, different from other people's countries. Everything, my beliefs, different from it. So this is the narka, the not having the knowledge. Na arka. Arka is light, na is not having that light. Then you will be held captive. They're calling Niguda, captive in Narka. Narka is not a physical place, it's a mental state. Well, you will start, that's why my Chainatra. Everybody is different and somebody has it. Either others are better than me or I'm better than others. If others are better than me, victim mentality. Is I'm better than others, pride and ego. So don't waste time. It's this is saying that see that Brahma, that Govinda Tattva in other people's, everybody else. And here I would love to remind you that when we do in Vedanta or in our Hindu practices, Sanatan practices, we say namaste or namaskar. What does it mean? We all know that the soul in me is honoring the soul in you. But we have taken it as a greeting. Mindlessly, namaste, namaste, namaskar, namaskar. Every time you do namaskar, challenge yourself. This is a challenge. It's not a greeting. I have to force myself to see that consciousness expressing through another body, mind, and intellect that irritates the hell out of me. So when you say do namaskar next time, don't just say namaskar for the mechanically saying namaskar. Even a monkey trained can say namaskar, 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 not knowing what the hell he's doing. But when you do it, challenge yourself. I have to remind myself it's the same Vishnu Tvam coming out of that person has chosen a different body, different mind, body, intellect. So that was verse 24. Now the last verse for today, verse 25. Let me come to it. Satrau mitre putre bandhau ma kuru yatnam vigraha sandhau sarvasminapi pashyatmanam sarvasminapi pashyatmanam sarvatro srija bheda jnanam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. Satro, against an enemy. Mitre, against a friend. Putre, against a son. Bandho, against a relative. Ma, never. Kuru, do. Yatra, strive. Vigraha sandho, for strife and for making friends. Sarva, smin, api. In everything, everywhere. Pashya, see. Atmanan, the self. Sarvatra, everywhere. Atruscha, lift away. Bheda Ajnanam, the sense of difference born out of ignorance. Bhaja, seek Govinda. So here it's saying that make an all-out effort to reach that state of oneness. However, first knowledge, understanding. If you don't understand, you cannot practice. That is where the knowledge improves. Then the practice, a daily reminder. It is not going to happen automatically. And that's why this namaskar is such a beautiful na mama, not me. I am an instrument. The ego comes when aham akar. I have taken this akar, this form to be an independent entity. Na mama. Swaha. Swa is me. Ha is I'm destroying it. Every puja, why do we do swaha? Na mama, nama, nama, nama. Not me, not me. I'm just the instrument. This body is an instrument. This mind is an instrument. Swaha. This ahankar is just the consciousness has created this form and this name to experience something. So reminding yourself and make all out effort to reach the state of oneness. Bheda jnana, wherever there is a vision of difference, if you think that there is a subject and object, you are different from anybody or others are different from you, there is fear, anger, greed, pride, jealousy, that you just cannot get out of it. So first the knowledge has to be there, then the practice has to be there, then the practice informed by this knowledge, oneness, unity consciousness, and again the knowledge has to be upgraded, practice has to match that, again the knowledge has to be upgraded, practice has to match that. In the meanwhile, the bhakti is happening constantly because we have to trust that we are going in the right direction, that there is that Govind Tattva. And how do we trust? How do we upgrade our knowledge? Through satsang. People, sat is that unchanging reality, sang in association of people who have already realized that. Just before we go to an unknown country, unknown place, we take a map of people who have gone there before. We take the help of satsang and scriptures to get there. So understanding, if you don't understand that there is only one consciousness that pervades everything, you will be held captive. You mudha, ignorant person, will be held captive, nigudha, in narka, in no arka, na arka, no knowledge, and you will suffer. This punya, papa, karma, why is bad things happening, and punarabi jananam, punarabi manaram. You will keep on going on and on and on until you understand that, hey, it's me, it's a projection. I can walk out of this movie anytime I want. I don't have to see the movie again and again and again. And so don't, when you are meeting people, because our relationships are the most difficult, they teach us more than anything else in the life. And we are trying to make either fight with our friends and relatives and others, or try to be very sweet to friends and relatives. They are here for a reason and a season. They are here to teach you something, and they're here to take their pound of flesh. Noble adversary. Noble because they are here as your teacher, adversary because they are challenging. Even the best of relationships, people that you love, are challenging. So this satru, mitru between all your bandhu and friend, forget that. Don't waste so much time. Know that they're in your life for a reason. When you have learned the lesson or paid back the whatever you owed them, they will either leave or they will change, or you will change yourself such that they will appear like they have changed. Because there is nobody out there. They are, remember, swapna vicharam, they are projection of your mind. When you decide to wake up, you can wake up. Now you go through a nightmare, you don't have the ability, you have not trained intellect and mind to wake up from a nightmare. So it happens again and again. Every night you're afraid. You're not sure whether you'll get a dream or a nightmare. But that's where the Jagran concept comes, that you don't sleep without training your mind. When the body goes down that path of Swapna Vichara, they're creating out of their old memories, lifetimes ago and early childhood, you are able to burn those memories. That is called moksha. Moha, attachment, ksha, destroy. What? The memories that are recreating itself again and again and again. Because the dream is happening based on your memories. Where is that the raw material coming for your dreams? It's coming from somewhere. And that is running your life. And the minute you can burn those memory and live without creating memory. How do you live without creating memory? Living in the present moment, no past, no future. Because time is an illusion. There are two aspects to time. One is a calendar time, which is very practical, and a psychological time, most impractical, past and future.